Good morning, everyone. I am Sarah Simon. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from a very sunny and beautiful autumn day here in Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm so happy that you can join me. Looks like we have Lori Anderson. Hello, Lori, welcome. Um, I don't know why I'm not seeing anybody else pop up here. And Mary, good morning. I am sorry that I'm an hour later than I normally am. I couldn't get it going this morning. I had a bunch of stuff that I left last night. I'm still trying to get enough sleep because, as you can tell, my voice is still kind of gone. I feel fine, but my voice seems to give out. And then I was having a few technical issues. So my camera for my phone, when I do the demonstrating, has disconnected a couple of times this morning. So hopefully that's not going to be a problem through the whole thing, but we'll keep an eye on it. So, good morning, Linda on YouTube and Mary on YouTube. Thank you for joining me there. Hopefully things go smoothly today. Um, I have to apologize. I have not gotten my PDFs out with the last couple of projects, the ones from last week. Like I said, I've been trying to get enough sleep, thinking that maybe that will help all of this, but I continue to struggle with some laryngitis. I feel fine otherwise. It's just the laryngitis that keeps coming and going. So, um, I wanted to remind you before I forget that this is the very last couple of days for you to get the starter kit at that wonderful deal. Good morning, Karen Wetstein on YouTube as well. Um, if you are thinking of purchasing anything, I know some people are starting to get things if you haven't started your Christmas cards. People are starting to think Christmas cards. And if you're going to be spending at around $99, this is the best deal because you actually get $155 worth of free product for that $99 and you get free shipping. And you can order the fitting florets now. This only goes until Monday. So if you were thinking about it, this is the time now to jump on board and actually do it. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Looks like we had a few more people jump on here. Good morning, Kathy Miller. Good morning, Beth. Good morning, Becky Weisky. Oh, tough loss for the Xavier Hawks last night. They lost to Little Chute. I'm from Little Chute, but I went to Xavier and I teach at Xavier. But I teach not confirmation, religion at Little Chute, St. John's and Little Chute. So I was kind of cheering for both teams, and it was a 7-3 loss. So it was a tough one. Good morning, Kelly and Julie. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to share with you some happy mail that I received this last week. Look at this beautiful card. Oh, and I forgot to put my light up here. This comes to me from Cheryl Bickler. Remember, we had a challenge a few weeks ago, and Cheryl is the one who won a free stamp set. And so she was thanking me for that free stamp set. And she just happened to win, I think, for sharing that week too. So she was a double winner in 1 week. This right here I received from Julie Schleve. Isn't that cute with that ladybug? This was a special, I want to say during celebration a couple years ago. And then I love that black and white paper with it too, with that pop of red. And she was also thanking me. She was a Facebook Live winner and she won a snowman set for placing an order. So thank you, Julie, for the happy mail. Um, let's see, we have, oh my goodness, we've got quite a few people who have jumped on here. I have prizes to give away as well. Prizes are always fun. Good morning, Aunt Mary. I see you're on here as well. Um, last week we made this fun gift card holder. So we used Velcro so that this piece comes off and you can take the gift card out of that little pocket. And it was a little birthday card. Our 12 weeks of Christmas week. Actually, let's do it this way. This was week 3 that we did last week. We had to do it during week 4 because I was sick during week 3. This was our 12 weeks of Christmas, and this was that pocket card that comes out. So fun. That was week 4. And these are going to, for commenting last week, these are going to Kathy Kessler. And Kathy, I don't think I have your address. And so if you could send me a private message with your address, I will get these out in the mail to you. And then for sharing, so if you hit that share button and you share on your Facebook page or you share with a friend, good morning, Kay. Thank you for sharing, Julie. You also get put into a drawing to win prizes. Now, make sure in the comments that you put that you shared, just like Julie just did, because for some reason, whatever your settings are, sometimes I can't see who has shared. And so I want to make sure that you get into the drawing if you did indeed share. Now, this is a sampling of what I sent to this person. So the person who won these is Sandy Calloway. And Sandy is in my stamp club, and I was mailing out to her the cards for this month yesterday so that she would get them by Monday. And I included a pack of these. These are the leaf labels and amber gems. I figured that this would be a great time to use these with Thanksgiving coming up because good morning, Brenda Dexheimer. I'm glad you found me too. With Thanksgiving coming up, I could see these as being great place settings. These amber gems are just gorgeous on cards for fall. So, Sandy, these are in with your cards, and they should be getting to you either today or tomorrow. All right. I think that's it for me talking. Well, I'll be talking while I'm sharing. Um, I don't have the cough so much. Every once in a while, because I'm trying to project my voice, it'll start coughing. I'll start coughing, but I'm not like coughing things up, Denise, and stuff like that, like I was a couple weeks ago. But gosh, this laryngitis has been hanging on. I've had it. It was 2 weeks on Wednesday, so it's been 2.5 weeks. But other than that, I feel absolutely fine. I just sound horrible. And there are about 3 of us at one of the campuses that are struggling with the same thing. I know some of the teachers have used some of those voice projections, like a microphone that they've been wearing, so that they don't have to try to project their voice as much because otherwise they're coughing as well. So I don't know what it is, but we're all kind of struggling with it. So I'm going to go ahead, flip my camera around. Actually, I'm going to flip it to my directions first. So the first card that we're going to make is week 5 in our series of the 12 weeks of Christmas. And I promised last week that we would do a religious card. I'm not going to lie to you. When the catalog came out, I always look for the religious stamp set. I have 3 aunts that are nuns and an uncle that's a priest. And so I always like to make at least some cards that are religious because after all, that is the reason for the season, right? Is Jesus. And so I always try to look for those and I make some fun, more secular cards, but then I always like to do a religious card. So we're going to be using Starry Sky Basic White, the Snowflake Vellum, and some silver foil for this card. I'm going to get some of this out of the way. I didn't quite get everything out of my bucket while I was talking. Sorry about that. So when this stamp set was in the catalog, when I saw this, I was like, I have to have that. That is so, so cool. And so I really wanted to get this. And I'm not going to lie to you. When I see something that I absolutely love, when I get it, it intimidates me a little bit because I want to do something so cool with it. And I'm so afraid that I'm not going to do it justice. Good morning, Betty, on YouTube as well. And so I am going to be doing a card with this, and this is probably the third card that I made with this. Good morning, Mom. Because the first two, I was like, I don't know. It doesn't do it justice. It's not like wow enough or something. And so this is my third attempt. And in fact, Mom, when I was talking to you last night and I said I have one card left, I just have another card to do. I kept looking at that card going, I don't like it enough. I don't like it enough. I want it to be better. And so I did make another one last night, Mom, and this is the one that I made for the 12 weeks of Christmas. So I'm using Peace to You, and there's this church with a snow scene. There's also this nativity scene, and I'm going to use the nativity scene today in the card that I'm making. Now, with these images there's a lot of ink on here. There's a lot of things that have to be stamped. I like to use my Stamparatus because I can ink it once, and if it's not dark enough, I can ink it again and it's placed in the right spot so that I don't have to worry about lining something up. So we're going to be using Peace to You, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a fun fold. I'm pairing it with this specialty paper. Oh my goodness. I had to have this when the catalog came out. I didn't even get the stamp set that goes with it. We're going to be using a little bit of this. Look at that. The snowflakes in there with the gold, and also these little dots that are on here. We're going to use this for one of them. And then there also in this is some of that little white, kind of like flocking. I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of like furry. I guess it's, if you touch this, I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty cool. So there are 2 snowflake sheets. They're different sizes. One of the flocking and one of the silver. And then each one has the silver and the flocking of the white. And then there is that silver and flocking of that polka dot. All right, so our card base is just a little bit different. Okay, so this measures, I believe it's 7 1/4. Yeah, 7 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I scored it at 4 1/4. So there's like this little part that's left off of here. And this is Starry Sky. I was gonna do Night of Navy because I love Night of Navy with silver, but oh my goodness, this Starry Sky I liked even better. I tried both of them. I also have a piece of Starry Sky that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 1 inch. Okay, so that makes this 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Now, I couldn't decide if I liked, so this is 2 3/4 by 5. I wasn't sure if I really liked that on there like that on the blue. And so because I was stamping my image on white, I thought, let's put white behind it and see if those snowflakes pop a little bit more. And look at the difference between what I had there and that. You can just see those snowflakes pop a little bit more. So I took some basic white that's also 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I put that behind there just for that to pop a little bit. And one of the reasons that I thought that I needed that is I had this piece for the inside that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I wanted to put this on the side because the white there by itself looked a little funny. It looked like it needed something. And because I was adding that to that white, I felt like I needed to add that one to the white so it looked the same. Doesn't that look cool? Oh, I just loved that. We also have some silver specialty foil. There's some that have like almost a pewter look to it, almost like a purplish in it. This one's just the plain old silver that we're going to be using because I thought it matched those snowflakes really well. I have a scrap of the Starry Sky that's going to be for our greeting. And then I have a layer of white that we're going to be doing, stamping our image on. So let me think here. This is 4 1/4. So this is 3 1/4 by, no, this is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So that means we're going to do 4 by 3 is this one. I have it, you had the directions when I was there. So this one's going to be 4 by 3, and this one's going to be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, I'm going to do some stamping before we put this all together. So I need a couple of things. I need all 3 of these, and I'm going to start with that big image. And so I'm going to bring my Stamparatus in here, and I'm going to tell you, I found this, I think it was on, I think it might have been on eBay or Etsy. I think it was on eBay. But this is almost like one of those like air hockey pucks. And I find that I really like it for pressing down. I sat with my hands going like this. I felt like I could get a little bit more pressure with this. So that's what that is if you're wondering, what the heck is she using there? I'm going to put this right up in the corner so that I know right where it goes in case I have to re-ink. And it does help to have like a stamp pad case or an ink pad or something underneath it for that to rest on, just to give you a little, I don't know, like it's a little bit firmer. I'm going to take some Starry Sky ink, and this is just, oh, so beautiful with this stamp set. I tried a bunch of different things. I had some designer paper that I inked it on that had different levels of blue, and that looked okay. I put it on green paper, and I liked that. So I want to be right in the corner on this. I'm going to stand up, give this a good press. Just rub that back and forth. Ooh, I got a little bit of ink up on the top. I pressed a little too hard. I think I might be able to get that with my sand eraser. So I'm just we're gonna try here. Just gonna ink it up a little bit more. Try to get it a little bit darker. I shouldn't have pressed down that way so much. Oh, and look at that image. Now, it's too bad that I got that little bit of a halo, but I think that I'm going to be able to get that off with my sand eraser. So I just get these from Amazon. They're a Tombow, and it's just a sand eraser. And what it does is it helps you to erase ink. It kind of just sands the paper down a little bit. And this might be too dark. I might not be able to get that. I may have to re-ink this and just be a little bit more careful. I didn't have this problem at all when I was doing my samples, and I made several samples, and none of them did this. So I must have just either pressed my ink too much or just pressed down. I think I'm kind of peeling this now. Let's bring it back and let's just do it over. Doesn't hurt to stamp it over. I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to just be a little bit more careful on that edge. All right, ink that up good. I might even grab a baby wipe. Got some right behind me. And I might just, like I said, it's the first time that it happened, but I don't want it to happen again. So we'll try to get some of that off. And I will try really hard just to press down and not like rock on the edge. There we go. But it does need a little more ink. See how that's not really, maybe you can't see it as well on the camera, but it has like some white spots in it. I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to give it a little bit more ink. And I am going to, of course it's blue, so I'm going to have blue all over my hands. Anybody else like that with blues and reds? This in the corner. I feel like I moved it too much. We'll see. I may be cutting another piece here because I think I moved it. Oh no, it looks pretty good. All right. Actually, it's a little bit, can you see the little bit of a halo on there? Oh, I think it looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to use this. We're good. I'm being too picky now. I want this to stay down though. We're going to attach this to the silver like that. And I really do like this one. Let me see here. I wonder if we can just cut that off. I do like that one better. Let's improvise. We're going to change this up a little bit from how I had made it. We'll see which one we like better. I'm going to bring my trimmer in. I'm going to just kind of eyeball this. I'm going to line up the line of my trimmer at the edge of that. I'm going to line up the edge of my trimmer. This is called stamping on the fly. We're changing it up. Looks like I'm a little bit crooked. I don't know how that happened, but water. All right, we'll see how this ends up. I may like this even better, who knows? For all of mine, I had made rectangles, but maybe cutting it around like that. Let's just grab a scissors. Let's just straighten this out a little bit. I think my stamp might have been on there a little crooked, and you couldn't tell, really, when I stamped it on the rectangle, but when I went and did that little cut, it looks a little crooked. Look at this. I can just do this with the scissors. There we go. We'll see how that looks on our silver. We're definitely improvising. I think that still looks great. I'm going to leave it like that. Hopefully I'm still connected and I haven't been watching comments, so let's see here. Is there a big difference between Starry Night and Night of Navy? Yes. So Starry Night is just brighter. Night of Navy is like a deeper color. So let me see if I can find, I might have an image where I stamped it in Night of Navy for you to see the difference. Here we go. That's Night of Navy. That's Starry Sky. So this one's just a deeper, it almost looks like it's bordering on black. And that one's just like a brighter blue. Okay, on our scrap, hopefully this goes better, we are going to stamp Peace to You at Christmas in Versamark, and I have some silver embossing folder, or embossing powder, not embossing folder. Now, I would go heat seal this, but through the magic of TV, I have that done for you. You knew I was going to have that done, right? I just have to find where I put it. Here we go. I also cut it out with a stitched rectangle. So Peace to You at Christmas. So we have that. And then I'm just going to stamp a greeting on that inside layer. I have to get this wet wipe out of here, or I am going to end up putting something in it. May God's hope and love shine on you this season. I thought that was pretty. Now I want this to be a little bit over to the left and up a little bit because I want to put that strip here and I want to be able to write something to them in the card as well. All right, we are finished with all of our stamping, so I'm going to get those out of the way. And now it's time to put this together. Now I'm going to bring in a silicone mat because when I'm gluing vellum, I know people are like, I don't like using vellum because I never know where to put the tape so you can't see it. If you take just put some glue on a silicone mat, and we don't sell these sponges anymore, but you could use a sponge dauber, or if you have any kind of sponge. I'm basically just tapping a little bit of that off. And what I want to do is I want to tap glue all over the back of this because you are not going to be able to see it if you have the glue lightly tapped all over like this. So when I do that, I can't see the glue on this side because it's all over. It's not like strips of glue or anything like that. I got to get in the camera. I feel like I'm really far away from you today. Like I have to stretch my arms way out. See, no tape marks, no glue marks or anything like that on there. And then we're going to do the same thing to this little piece. Normally I have like a binder clip, but I couldn't find one last night when I was doing this. So see, I'll admit, I remade this card last night. I'll show you my other one and see what you think. Um, but I was like, I don't know if I like this or not. So, and I'm going to put that all the way out to the edge. And we're good. Sometimes I have to trim just a little bit off and then get that glue out of the way. Now, we are going to use a bone folder to give that a good crease. And then you can either use some tear and tape. I just like to use liquid glue, and everybody knows why because I say it all the time. It just gives me a little more wiggle room. And I am going to adhere that so that the fold is going out to the outer edge of my card. All right, and I'm trying to center it pretty much top and bottom as well. All right, looks like I got a little bit of glue there. I'll bring my glue remover to get that off. All right, this piece is going to go right inside of here for the inside of my card, but that little bit of silver polka dots is going to be sticking out so that you can see that when this is closed. Doesn't that look cool like that? And then this piece is going to go over here. So we're going to bring that silver background and we're going to bring that silver embossing of the greeting is coming in with the paper that we're using. Okay, this is going to go right on here. Making sure I'm still connected because I did get disconnected a couple times this morning. I was not happy. I was like, oh no, don't tell me this is happening again. I have some glue on my fingers and it's showing up on this. I think I'll get it once it's dried a little bit. All right, then I have this greeting that we're just going to place right about there. Now my paper isn't as wide as it was when I had, and as long as it was because I cut it off. So this does look a little bit different. I'll show you what my original looked like. Because I do have a model that I had made or a sample that I had made ahead of time. We just improvised a little bit today. Oh, Mary's husband made a palm pad. Cool. For her Stamparatus. I'd love to see that. Okay, that's just going to go along the bottom there, so it's right by the little nativity piece to you at Christmas. And then I wanted to use a little Wink of Stella, and I know you're probably not going to see the Wink of Stella. I had, when I did this on blue paper, you could really see that, but I did want it to shine just a little bit, that star. But then to make it really sparkle, I thought it just needed a rhinestone in the center of it. So I'm just taking our basic rhinestones and I'm going to take one of the bigger ones and just set that right in the center there. All right, so peace to you at Christmas. May God's hope and love shine on you this season. That is our card one. Very shiny. That star just really is bright. This was the first card that I made that I was going to do, Silent Night, Holy Night. And I thought about doing that. And then that's when I was like, oh, it's just not like a wow. And I just felt like this snowflake paper just kind of added a little bit of a wow factor. This is what the card looks like with the full white rather than cutting it. There's a little less silver around there. but pretty much the same card. All right, and this one was a gatefold. I didn't have the inside done. So those are a couple of cards using this piece to you. Now I'm thinking of using this church to make an ornament later in our 12 weeks of Christmas to show you something different that you can do with making a little ornament with that. I want to have some almost like a little shaker thing so that you can like shake the snow around the church there. So stay tuned for that. It's a work in progress. It's in my head. It just hasn't been created yet. All right, so that is card number one. Let me go back to my directions, and the next two cards are going to be using the same fun fold. Okay, so I don't even know what it's called. It kind of like sets out like a display when you're done. So I called it a fun display fold card. And the first, we're going to make two cards with the exact same fun fold. So you can see two different takes on it. And the first one is going to be using the cottage wreaths. I just love this stamp set because you can use it for so many different things. And so today we're going to be using it for a thank you card. I have a couple of thank you cards that I have to get out in the mail to people, and I thought this will be perfect to use this for that. So those are the dimensions. This fold does require a full sheet of paper plus some DSP. So you're going to start by taking an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You are going to cut it in half at 4 1/4. So this is a half a sheet. There would be another 4 1/4 over here. From this, you are going to score at 2 3 3/4 inches from both ends. So I did that already. I just scored this at 2 3 3/4, and then I flipped it over and scored it at 2 3 3/4 again. You also then, from the other half a sheet, so you said, I told you needed a full sheet. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's going to be our card base. And then this is 4 1/4 by 4. Okay, so it's not quite a square, it's 4 1/4 by 4. So all you're going to have left from one sheet of paper is this little section down here. So this fold does require a full sheet of paper, but by the time you would have cut and layered everything, it's usually almost a full sheet that you're using anyway. All right, I decided I wanted to use the Gingham Cottage, I think that's what it's called, Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper. This is my one for my envelope. Oh, I didn't make an envelope for the last one. I have it here. We'll make it yet. I have a scrap. Here we go. But then I also have this piece right here, which measures 1 3/4 by 4. I'm actually going to use this side of that for this one. I have a piece that measures 3 3/4 by 4. I have two little pieces that measure 3/4 inches by 4, and you can mix and match the front and the back for these. And then I have a little piece that measures 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then for the inside of my card, I have, this is 3 1/4 by 4. Okay, and that's for the absolute inside. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and stamp the things that we need to stamp. I am going to take a little input from you to see what you think. I'm going to use mint macaron because that's the color that's actually in that gingham. It's called an accordion fold. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know what it was called. I made this before, and I'm actually looking back at an old sample that I had made. Gosh, I think I actually even did a Facebook Live with it, and we might have even done a challenge with it. Taking one of the wreaths. Now, I only used one shade of green, but because of this being a distinctive stamp set, it automatically shades it the way that the stamp is cut. It will make different levels of darkness of that green that you pick. So you don't even have to stamp it multiple times. Isn't that cool? I love that about our distinctive stamps. The same thing's going to happen. I'm going to take some acorns since it's fall. I really liked the acorns that were in there. And when you stamp this, even though I'm using crumb cake, it looks like I have darker for the top part of the acorn and lighter for the bottom. I don't. It's the same stamp, but because of how they cut it and how they like design it, make it, they're able to make it so that you have darker shading even though you're just using one color. Now, I'm going to do this in two different things, and I'm going to see what you like better. So we're going to use Beyond Grateful, because I said this is a thank you note. I'm going to put it on the Very Vanilla. Couldn't think of the name of that. I'm also going to put it on Crumb Cake with Crumb Cake ink. I am going to take the inside of my card, and I'm going to put the thank you. I was running out of blocks because I've stamp clubbed this weekend. And so I'm using two sides of a block here. That's a little, let me take this off now so I can actually see it. There we go, that's better. I'm not stamping real straight today. I don't know what it is. Let's put this straight. There, that's a little bit better. And I'm going to just take one of those little acorns and put that up in the corner there. All right, we have dies, and I'm going to close these up because you know me, paper will end up in that ink and I will have to redo everything. So we do have dies that will cut this out. Okay, we do have dies a die that will cut out our little acorns so we don't have to cut those out by hand. And this Beyond Grateful is from that sentiment set, sentiments, but that will cut out the Beyond Grateful. So we have to decide if we like the Beyond Grateful, which I have all this cut out. You know that. Magic of TV. We've got a wreath. I have a Beyond Grateful in Very Vanilla. I have one in Crumb Cake. And to make sure that I didn't lose anything, I have, I think, 6 acorns that I cut out that we'll get out of this little bag here. There we go. My bag is empty. I'm going to put these things back. I'm going to set this aside because I have several thank you cards that I have to make. So I will be using that in another card that I will make. All right. This is for her envelope. We'll do that after. We'll do both envelopes at the end. Don't let me forget. Okay, I am going to fold in on the ones that are in the inside. So both of these are going to be folded in. And then, like Mary said, it's kind of like an accordion fold. And you're going to fold back the other way. Okay, so you're making something that looks like this. And I remember when I did it on a Facebook Live before, it might have even been a year or so ago. Charming Sentiments. Thank you, Mary Linsmeyer. I knew there was something in front of the word sentiments. And I knew it was towards the beginning of the alphabet because I have all my stamp sets alphabetized. And it's kind of towards the like CD area of my stamp sets. I'm a little OCD that way. I don't always put them away, but when I do, they're alphabetized. Anyhow, this is how I held on to that to be able to put that down. So before we put that down, we're going to take some of our designer paper and we're just going to line each of the ends of this card base. I'm going to use the smaller gingham check for that. And I'm going to stand up. Like I said, I feel like I'm miles away from you today, and I don't know. I feel like my camera's in the same spot. I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, these are going to go here. Anyone have any special plans for today? After this, I have to go. I'm part of a planning committee for a women's retreat, and we do a welcome video for the first day or the night that they get there, and we have to record that today. The retreat's not till February, but we always usually do this in like September. So the fact that it's the end of October is really kind of late, but we're doing it. It's a beautiful day to do it. So it's kind of fun what we've got planned. So I'm excited about it. So this is going to go in the center here. And like I said, I kind of held this up like this so that I could center it. And you want to line up the top and the bottom and center it, which having those little strips on kind of helps a little bit if you have those centered. And then this is going to go down like that. Isn't that fun? Okay, so it opens up like this. So we're going to add this little strip onto that inside layer. Just going to do that right along the bottom, just to give me a little bit of that green. Otherwise, I probably would have stamped that maybe in mint macaron just so that I could have a little bit of the green on the inside. But I knew I was going to put that little strip in there, so I stuck with crumb cake for everything that I stamped. What I like about this is a lot of times when I'm doing a thank you note, I don't need to write a whole lot. Thanks for what they did. I appreciate it. And this doesn't have a whole lot of space. You could also put a post-it in there so they could reuse the card if you wanted to. All right. And then this little piece is going to go on here. This. Actually, let's attach this first. We're going to attach this to just this left side. So I want to put my glue on here so I don't go too far on that panel. Now remember, this was 4 by 4 1/4. So you have to make sure that the 4 1/4 piece is the one that's going up and down so that it matches up with this. And this is where having liquid glue is really handy, because I can just kind of wiggle it into place, and then once it is in place, I can press it down. Okay, so it's going to stand up just like that. So I'm going to have matching VSP, so I'm going to use the bigger checks, or the bigger gingham on the front. And then I'm going to carry over that bigger check, I think, to this little part, so that when it's standing out like that, it has something on it. Now, I think the one that I might have made in my Facebook Live before had something on all of the other panels too. You really don't have to do that. You can, if you wanted to dress all of them up, you could. Okay, so that is our fold. Isn't that unique? And it just goes in the envelope like this, so it looks like a regular card when you get it, but when the person opens it up, it has that unique fold. Super, super easy, but yet kind of nice. Oh, Mary, you're stamping all weekend. Oh, your hubby's up north. Oh, cool. Jay, a paper pumpkin play date. How fun does that sound like it's going to be? That's awesome. I'm just catching up on your comments because I asked the question and then I went and did something else. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you, I'm going to go ahead and put this on here so that you can see. So these little acorns are going to go on this wreath just to kind of dress it up a little bit and make it look a little fallish, because I'm sending the thank you note out now. So I think I'm going to use, I think I used 5 of them on my sample. What I want your input on is, and there's going to be, I'm going to use some twine to put a bow up on the top. Do you like that? I'll hold it up with the very vanilla and the crumb cake, or do you like more bringing the crumb cake in and having the greeting be on um, crumb cake on crumb cake? So go ahead and vote. Do you like the vanilla or do you like the crumb cake greeting? That'll be the first thing that we have to vote for. So I'm going to add this wreath. I just put all these on here so that you could see that. Now I'm going to add this with some dimensionals. So I have some dimensionals here. And we're going to throw on here. I just love these wreaths. Now, this one has like leaf. There are also some I could have cut out in mint macaron, some leafy things. I could have made it look more twiggy if I wanted to. There's one that looks more twiggy, and I could have done that as well. And so there's a lot of different ways that you could do. Let's see, I think I'm going to go like, I don't know if there's really a top or bottom. This kind of looks a little fuller. I'm going to go this way. All right, what do we got going on here? Vanilla, 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 crumb cake, vanilla, vanilla, vanilla. So funny because when I first did this, I did it with, I did it, oh, I don't have any, I only have black littles. We'll use black ones, I guess. I only had, or I mean, when I did it in the crumb cake. And because I thought, oh, I need to get some crumb cake in here. But I didn't have the acorns on yet because I added those last. I felt like it still needed something. So I added the acorns. And then after I added the acorns, I was kind of like, maybe vanilla would have looked better. But I already had the crumb cake on. So I did my sample in crumb cake. Very vanilla crumb cake. Oh, shoot, I just got disconnected. Let me go ahead and see if I can get connected again. Sorry, ladies. There we go. I think I'm back. It wasn't too bad. It said network error, so I don't know what that means. I'm going to have to figure out if it's my Wi-Fi that's going out. I'm plugged in, so it can't be that. I don't know what it is. I'm getting frustrated. I know Kathy Miller said she couldn't even connect at all the other night, which I'll call you later, Kathy, to see if I can help you get that figured out. Technology is so great when it works. I was up late last night. Whoops, I think I want this to go this way. I was up late, actually early this morning, and my upline, Kelly, was testing her new computer. So she went on a Facebook Live, and I happened to be on there, and she's asking me questions about her computer and telling me all of her woes. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to my world. I deal with computers every single day, and it's like, oh, what could go wrong with technology? It always does. And then you got to try to figure out what's going on. All right, so I'm just putting those in every little which way. I think vanilla won because I have one crumb cake on Facebook and I have one crumb cake on YouTube. So we're going to go ahead and go with the vanilla Beyond Grateful. And I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals as well because I can. All right, so that goes there. Yeah, Becky, it's for Women Celebrate that we're making our video. And my shirt is kind of a giveaway as to what the theme kind of is. You'll see my shirt when I come back on again, but yeah, it's kind of a giveaway to what our video is going to be a little bit like today. And why we kind of waited a little bit longer too, I think. All right, I'm just using some of this linen thread, and I think I'm going to wrap this around here 3 times, get a nice substantial bow to add to the top of it. Now, there are bows that I could have stamped and cut out. They also have one that has a little bit of detail that I could have just cut out and not even had to stamp. But I really liked how the linen thread was just kind of sort of, I don't want to say dainty, but just kind of a little bit lighter than the stamped image was. So I am going to get my bow maker out of the way. I'm going to trim these up, and I'm going to keep them just a tad bit longer. I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of curl the edges. See what that does? Isn't that cool? If you've never curled your baker's twine, you can definitely give it a twirl. And we're going to put that up on the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your pick tool, which is sitting over here with my rhinestones. I'm going to take this glue dot and I'm going to kind of just roll it into a ball. So it's just kind of like a little ball there. And then I'm going to stick it where I want the knot to be for my bow. And then I can come and push that knot right into that glue dot. And maybe I should have just done two. You know what I did? I did three, but I think I did them wider on my sample. And with this being a little bit smaller bow, I maybe could have gotten away with just two. Now, I felt like it still needed a little bit of bling. These are kind of really whimsical. There we go. Kind of rein it in a little bit. These wonderful, it says red and green adhesive backed pearls. In the catalog, they're called holiday pearls, I think, instead. Um, they have like this green color on here that I thought was pretty cool. It's not, I don't know if it's supposed to be mint macaron, but it kind of looks like it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of those, and in between our little acorns, I'm just going to stick a couple of these. I think that's enough for them. It's not an odd number, but I think that's okay. And there is our thank you note going out to someone. Beyond thankful, or beyond grateful, and then thank you. Such an easy, fun fold, but when your recipient gets this, it's kind of like, oh my God, how did they do that? That's so cool. I think that we wow people all the time with our cards. And people don't know how easy it is. Okay, let's make an envelope. I don't want to forget this. I don't think anybody reminded me. Oh, Diane, Kelly's your upline as well. She's got a lot of downline, so that doesn't surprise me. I have been with Kelly. Oh my gosh, I've been with Stampin' Up for, oh, Kathy Miller might know how long. Because I think I joined shortly. Kathy, I think, was Kelly's first downline. And then Kelly was it was during Celebration, and she had a thing like, if you're interested in Stampin' Up, come to Solea over off of Highway 41 in Neenah, for those of you that are local. And she had some apps that she purchased, and she had them out there. And there were a couple of us that came. Actually, both of us signed up to be demonstrators that after meeting with her. I was like, I'm spending this much money anyway. I might as well get a discount. And instead of going to Archivers where I was having to buy different colors to match papers all the time, Stampin' Up's papers keep using the same colors, so I don't have to buy new colors. There is my matching envelope. And you know what I might do? I might take a couple of those acorns and just to add a little something to the front, we'll go whoop. And it's just tiny, but it just adds a little bit of something to the front along with that fun back. Now I do have to bring my silicone mat back in. Notice how where I had all that glue, it's now dry. All you have to do is take your finger. I think this is so fun. I don't know why. Popping bubbles, um, peeling off the glue from a silicone mat. Those are all things that I really enjoy doing. So I am going to put a little more glue on here, and I'm going to bring my sponge back in, which I set out of the way. I want to get all that glue on the tip. I didn't do that very well. I'm going to bring the sponge back in here, and we're going to glue Put glue on the back of that so that we can add it to our envelope. Now I have glue on everything here, so I just want to make sure that I'm going to flip it over this way and press it down so that I don't get glue all over my workspace. All right, and now I don't want to use my ribbon scissors because I don't want to get glue on that. Let me grab a scissors that's not a ribbon scissors and probably has a little adhesive on it already. I forgot to do this with our last card. But what a wow to get this fun vellum. I don't know that I would make a lot of cards like this. That would be a lot of vellum that you would have to put on your envelope, but holy cow, does that look awesome. Oh, just love that. Okay, so now we have an envelope for both of our cards, and we have 2 cards finished. And our third card is going to be the exact same thing, the exact same fold, I should say, but we're going to use some of that new paper, some of that new and stamps, fitting florets. So we're going to be using Evening Evergreen for this last card, one of my favorite colors. So I did all of these are the same. Put some of this stuff off to the side so I can use it later. I'm going to put the cover on my glue. I'm going to actually peel some of that glue off Okay, so this is Evening Evergreen. So this is the 4x5 1/4. This is the 4 1/4 by 4. This is the 4 1/4 by 11. That's scored at 2 3 3/4 on each side. And the paper we're going to use, look at this. The little gingham, but look at the back. So we are going to use that paper for this card. So my thought was, I haven't made this one yet. We're completely winging this one. I cut stuff and I have in mind what I want to do, but I have not put this one together. So my thought was to do that. And then on the front, do this. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay, then what do you think? Should we do this on the side and have it match the other sides? Or should I have it match the front? What I'm going to put on the front, so that you know, my thought is I cut out an Evening Evergreen, one of this frame that has, I don't know if you can see the little design on that. And then I did an inside of the Balmy Blue. And we're going to stamp our greeting, which will almost fill this, in Evening Evergreen on there. And then, did you know that this ribbon that is in with the gnomes, this is Balmy Blue and white, but it's really 2 ribbons that have been stitched together. So you could use a seam ripper, you could use a scissors, and you could just cut this ribbon apart. So I cut a whole bunch of the Balmy Blue off, and my thought was to tie a bow and put it up in the corner somewhere on that little frame. And then for the inside, isn't that thing cool? My thought was to just glue this down on the inside and just have a place to write. I did think about putting this on here. I thought it kind of got lost. Whoops, you can't see that. It kind of gets lost on there because the pattern is just a little too busy. I thought about putting it on the side. I thought about cutting a white one, but I thought that would blend in with the white paper. So the colors in here are really Evening Evergreen and Balmy Blue. Maybe a little bit of navy in the center of that flower, but I wanted this to just be something that's super simple. So I guess I'm asking, do you think I should put this side with the floral, or should I keep it the gingham like the other sides? So go ahead and let me know what you think you would like me to do for that. And I'll go ahead and start putting this together. Oh, the lighting changed over on, oh, you know what I never did? I never turned my overhead light off. Are you guys seeing tons of shadows? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it's too bad. Okay, what about blurriness? It is a little blurry again on YouTube. Not on YouTube. On Facebook, it's blurry. YouTube is clear. No naked envelopes allowed. I love it. I don't always make an envelope when I'm making a card unless I know that that card is going out right away. Because otherwise, I need an envelope for something else because I may be running short of them because I have a whole stash of cards that are sitting here. And if I need an envelope and then I don't have one, I'm like, oh crap, but this one doesn't match. So I don't always make them if I'm not going to be using the card right away. But if I'm going to be using it right away, definitely no naked envelopes. All right, I'm just wiggling this back into place here again to center it. And again, if you hold this together like this, it makes it a little bit easier to see and to line everything up. Okay, so that goes like that. And then we have our green, Evening Evergreen. That's going to go like that. And so we're going to ink this or glue this up. And again, I want to get all the way over to the corner, match it up bottom, top. Okay, and this is going to go on here. I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way. Let's see. I don't think so. I really didn't need that much glue. I don't know why I put that much glue on. I never use that much glue. All of a sudden, I'm like, what am I doing here? Okay, so what do you think? I got gingham, green gingham side, gingham, 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 floral. What do I have? Nothing on YouTube for that. All right, it looks like gingham's going to win. So whoever wanted floral, sorry. The ginghams have spoken, and it's going to be gingham. All right. I do kind of like that. That looks cool like that. So it'll stand up like that with the gingham. All right. Then let's bring some stamping in here. We haven't done anything yet for stamping. I needed some thank you notes, so I apologize that you're getting thank you notes. Although this one I can't keep. I'm going to have to make another one like it because I don't have a sample of this one made yet. So I'm using thank you with all my heart. Now I do want to make sure that I have this somewhat straight, and then I want the with all my heart to be straight so that it looks like this is straight. I'll let that soak in a little bit. It looks like I need to re-ink my Evening Evergreen. Oh, it looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to keep this out. I also found one that said, so lucky to call you friend, which I thought would be cool to put on the inside of that. And then I kind of thought this might look nice just going along the edge like that, just to bring some of that balmy blue into the inside of our card. So I'm just going to put in a couple of different places. I'm just going to hopefully get, now you could go back, I could go back to my silicone mat and I could use a sponge and I could sponge daub this in a bunch of different places and just put a little glue on that way. But if I'm really careful with my liquid glue, I can get just little dabs of it to come out. And really a little dab is all that you really need to hold this in place. It's not going to go anywhere if you press it down and make sure that it is down. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to press that down. Oh, that's pretty. And I'm going to put that on the inside. So there's a little bit of a wow. So instead of taking more DSP and putting that in the middle, on this one, I'm opting to take one of those floral, not floral, but kind of like leafy parts of the dies that come in with the dies and the frames to do that. Now for this, I think I'm going to glue, this down, and I think I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals. I could have cut the bigger circle. There's two different frames. One has that really fancy thing that we did last week with the Christmas one. Let's see if I can find those cards. Couldn't have put them too far. I had them out this morning for prizes. Here we go. So there's this fancy thing right here that has a little bit bigger oval, and then there's this oval that cuts out an oval on the inside, but this one has one that's a little bit bigger. I could have cut that one out, but I decided that I was fine with just using the inside of this one. So that's what I did. So you have so many different sizes that you can use with those labels. You can mix and match them, and so that you can have a variety of different sizes of ovals. I know that's one of the things that I've really missed since the stitched frames left us, is having ovals, because when they came back with those stylish frames that have the stitching, there weren't any ovals in there. So there were squares, there were circles, and then there were those banners, but there weren't any ovals. All right, let's go ahead and pop this up with a bunch of dimensionals. And then the big thing is going to be making sure that I get this smack dab in the center because it is the exact same size as that opening. Now, the one that I did last week, you'll remember I was able to glue it to the back of that little oval. That's because that oval that I cut was from the bigger frame, and it was, and I could line it up and do that. All right, I think I did a pretty darn good job there. Thank you with all my heart. Like I said, I haven't done this one yet. Now that I'm looking at it, I feel like, does anyone feel like it needs something more on that label? I'm going to put this little bow on here, but I have some of the gold gems that we can put on here. And maybe that'll be enough once we put them on, that we don't have to stamp anything else. Like I said, I haven't made this yet, so I didn't know what to expect. So if we put that little bow up there, I'm going to cut this a little bit. Here's my ribbon one. Don't want to get glue on it. And again, we'll take a little glue dot and roll it up in a little ball. Stick it where I want that not to be. Stick that there. And then, I don't know, I feel like it needs something yet. Becky changed her mind to gingham. Okay, then everybody wanted gingham. Good. Let's see. I have these that we could put on there. So that's what that looks like. I'll let you see that. We could put a couple more of those on there. Let me see what else I have in my stash, because I wasn't planning on this. I have a brand new pack of these in color opals. These I have two different sizes of. So we could do opals like that with the evening evergreen, or we could do gold and bring some gold in. What do you think? Let me know what you think. In the meantime, I'm going to do the envelope. I think I'm going to do gingham on the envelope instead of the floral. I like the floral, but I really think that gingham looks awesome. And since the card itself is evening evergreen, I think that that will match nicely. I might even look to see if we have a little image that we can stamp somewhere on here. Although I have this up on dimensional, so now is not going to be the time. Probably should have done that first. So there's a little gingham envelope. Let's see, what do we got? First time viewing live from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Like the gold. All right, 3 gems. Yep, I'm going to do 3 gems. Should I do the gold? I got opal, I got gold, I got gold, gold. All right, let's do the gold. We'll do 3 of them. So I'm going to do 1 down there and we'll do 2 up on the top. How about that? These are so stunning. Some of you are demonstrators, so you maybe have your hands on these already. I wish the camera did them justice. And I don't know why mine are falling off of the little thing here, but they have, can you see those little swirls in there? It's so cool. It's like something we've never had before, and they're really, really flat. Now, the only thing that I wish is that they were a couple of different sizes, because when I put gems on, I tend to like to have different size gems for here and there. I maybe, now that I'm seeing this, if I were to recreate this, I maybe would have looked in the stamp set and grabbed, let me grab the stamp set. Maybe I would have grabbed one of these leafy images that are down here and maybe would have stamped that, like put the thank you with all my heart up a little bit and then stamp that down a little bit. Also, you could have done another one of those flowers, but with this being blue, you would have had to stamp that, color it, and cut it to put on there because you wouldn't have been able to just stamp that on there. So, but pretty paper. And the paper just, I think, in all of these patterns with this paper, and this paper, remember, it starts on November 1st, and it's really while supplies last. This will be in the new spring catalog along with the frames. Okay, so that will be in the catalog, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you really liked this paper when it comes out November 1st, remember it's while supplies last. So if it runs out early, and same thing with these gems. These gems are while supplies last. So if you really wanted to get your hands on those, just want you to know that that starts on Tuesday, November 1st. Okay, let's bring in what we did. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's 10:11. I have to be in Kaukauna, which isn't that far, by 11 o'clock to do my taping. All right, so here is our Christmas card. Well, actually, that's not the one we made today. We ended up making this one because we had a little bit of a mistake, and so we cut a little bit more of the white off. And then here is our little wreath card. Both of these with the same fun fold, this one with a little bit different fun fold. All right, I will come back to you here. I'm back. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for those that are saying that you love the cards. I love designing them. Sometimes the creativity flows a little bit better than others. I have one of the cards for next week done already. Oh, can't believe that. I'm going to work on the Christmas one probably later today. My dad and I are going to do some workout in the yard. And so I've got that going on today. But then later tonight, I'll probably do some stamping because tomorrow I have stamp clubs. So I can't really do a lot of stamping during the day tomorrow. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoy this day, this weekend. And I will be back next week, Saturday. I'm hoping to be back at 8 o'clock. I don't know if this time's better or if 8 o'clock is better for people. It doesn't really matter to me. The week after that is when I'm going to be in Indianapolis. And so next week I'll be here, and then I'll maybe do some of my swaps that I'm doing for Indianapolis. I have two swaps that I'm in. I have one of them done. The other one I have to work on this week. So maybe I'll do those, and then I do have, or maybe I'll do the card that I have for next week. Maybe I'll make that my swap. I don't know. But anyway, I will be back here next week, God willing, and I can't wait to see you again. Have yourself a great weekend. Bye bye, everyone.